Welcome to another Artist Sessions, and today we are in the home of Julia Fallon. Welcome, Julia.
Well, thank you for having me, Rhonda.
And I didn't say what type of artist you are because I don't know whether I should call you a harpist or a harper. I've heard both. Which do you call yourself?
I answer to either. The technical terms are a folk harper that plays what we call a folk harp, which is the ancient onto the present harp, is harper, like Harper's Bazaar. But a harpist is a modern, from the 1800s on, when the first pedal harps were made. So they call those people harpist. I play a pedal harp, so I'm a harpist, and I play a folk harp, so I'm a harper.
Okay. Well, so how did you get into harping? How did you get into playing the harp?
My grandmother spent time in New York City 100 years ago, and she went to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel and saw a lady playing the harp in the tea room and decided that someday one of her future grandchildren would play the harp. And all of our family members on both sides of the family were required to play a musical instrument. I tried violin in the 5th grade and I was horrible. And my sister and I, she got a harp, and my younger sister, and I tried it over the summer, and she did not like it, and I did. And so I was the appointed harp player from the Macmillan crowd, which I'm a Macmillan, and I continued it through the years, kind of let it go a little bit at one point in time, and probably would have let it go forever like a lot of people do. But when I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, they had a chapter of the American Harp Society, and we had wonderful harpers, harpists. We had a nun that played the harp. We had a man from World War II that made harps. It was an eclectic bunch of people. It was like a support group for the harp. That was one thing, the only thing we had in common, and it inspired me. And I actually was president one year, and the membership grew to over 100 in the Charlotte area.
Wow.
So it brought me back.
That is a great story. So talk about different places that you play the harp. I know you've been at the Alexander Black House and Cultural Center, and you do weddings, and there's a lot of different places you play. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, it's been wonderful playing places like the Alexander Black House and other historic sites through the years. Even in Eastern North Carolina, I played at historic sites. It lends itself well. I play, now I've gotten into some different local venues such as open mics. I play for open mics. I've done the Parkway Brewery and the Due South Barbecue. So it's fun to play open mics. Farmers Market in Blacksburg I've played. And that was due last week. Of course, that was canceled. But I'm hoping the May 22nd, Saturday, whatever that is, it may be the 23rd, I'm hoping we're going to be able to get out there and play. I'm playing with the flutist, Dan Warren, because I feel like we're socially distanced anyway with the harp and flute, and I'm hoping we can set up on that corner, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I play at nursing homes and different kind of, I've played for parties through the years, Lavender Festival, wedding festivals, different things with other harps. We've done that, having group harp things through the years. So that's what I've done.
Yeah, and I can just attest to every time you play, and I'm going to get you to play a little bit here in a minute, but I really am brought to tears. I've told you that before, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that's ever said that. So it's such a soothing feeling when you play the harp. So is that the way it's used? Sometimes you did mention that you play sometimes in a nursing home. Have you played in hospitals? What are some, I guess, environments that you played in for that particular purpose? Are there some?
Yes, I believe that the harp is soothing. It's one of the three ancient instruments. The drum, the harp, and the pipe are from biblical and probably before times. and there's something innate about the harp. And I have played where we played for memory care, and we've done this over and over at a particular place, and it's very soothing for those residents. After their dinner, they get in a circle, and I sometimes just play the harp, or Dan plays the flute with the harp, and we play old romantic favorites from the 50s and 60s and even 40s and 70s, whatever. And that really brings about some great memories and some, it's a soothing nature for people.
Okay, so I've got to ask, at Parkway Brewing, what music did you play there?
Oh, we played some rock. We played Nights in White Satin and the Beatles, and yeah, we get into it now. We've been doing some more the rock for the harp. The harp isn't, there's harpists who are pure jazz and pure rock harpists. I'm not one of those, but when I was in college, there was a gal, gosh, I can't think of her name now, who played with Stevie Wonder. She was awesome. She was over at the School of Arts in Winston-Salem when I was at St. Harriet. No, that wasn't her name. I'll have to think of that. But anyway, yep, there's all kinds of harp in this world now.
Oh, that's so much fun. Okay, so I think this sounds like a great time for you just to give us just a little piece of what you do. Do you mind going over to your harp and playing a little something, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more?
Sure, I'd love to. So that's a little bit of Disney.
That was beautiful, Julia. Thank you.
Very
recognizable. I'll have to play that for my granddaughter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people like a song they recognize. That's one thing I've learned, that yes, with music, you want to know something you've heard before. It's nice to hear new stuff, though, that people write and stuff. I don't compose, but I do like to hear new things.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that we started artist sessions was because of this stay at home and social distancing that we're all doing right now. So just on a little more personal level, talk about what that looks like for you. Have you found some good in it, or what are some challenges that you're having there?
Well, Rhonda, I'm a people person. So that's
Exactly.
and you are too. It's been difficult because I love people. That's my favorite thing. As far as the harp goes, I've connected with people all over the world. I placed a picture of some practice books on my couch, and I took a picture and I put it on the Harpist Exchange. And I said, remember, while you're home, you can do these old favorites. And I've had over 80 likes, and about 20 or so comments saying, oh, yeah, I've got that. I'll get that out and play. So I feel like I'm meeting harpists literally that some of them put a comment in another language. So I feel like that's something I wouldn't have connected with without this, with people everywhere. And I'm talking to harpists all over, messaging, and hearing some new music online with some of the young harpists and harpers, and so that's been a good thing with it. But now I know that hopefully we'll be out of this soon. I'll still connect with those people. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And I think that is one of the things that we're all seeing, is that we have found ways to connect. You cannot
Right.
stop people from connecting and coming together, and even if it's in new ways now. So tell me what some of your challenges are. What do you miss the most?
Well, for example, I was supposed to play the harp at the farmers market last Wednesday.
Mm.
This was our first gig for the farmers market. They call it Beats for Beats, and musicians actually play at the Blacksburg Farmers Market, and they play for a couple hours, and then they get coupons to spend at the farmers market. And I love playing there because so many children are there, and I'm one of those people that wants to let any child who wants to come and play the harp play the harp. So if parents are totally thrilled to let their child come over and sit at the harp, and I'm very careful because it is a very top heavy instrument. So we do this very safely. And sometimes the child will sit in my lap or be able to stand and play. And I want to touch it. Even little babies have touched the harp and played the harp. And of course, it's a great photo opportunity for parents. So they love to take a picture of their child at the harp at the farmer's market. And I do that at weddings and all too, because I feel like every child needs to at least have a chance to play an instrument. And the harp is the cool one too. And we did this a lot at the Lavender Festival in the early years when it wasn't quite as big. A lot of children would come up and play the harp. And so I miss things like festivals, weddings, and I've got a couple weddings that have been postponed. So that's the challenge, is just being around people, not just in harping, but in everyday life. So
Right. And that does not, you talking about working with children does not surprise me, because I do know you a little bit, and I know that you teach, and I know that you have grandchildren. So that, I'm sure, has been hard as well. But man, that's, for children to be able to touch a harp and even see and hear one, because that's not an instrument that they necessarily get in their everyday lives. It's not one of the more common ones. So
yeah.
I love that you do that. I love that you do that. Okay, so Julia, is there any way that people can, other than a live experience, do you have a way that people can hear you? Do you have a website or any CDs? Can you talk about that?
Well, I don't have CDs, but I'm working on a website right now. I finally had time to sit down and work on it. And I had a website developer. I've been so busy because I have other things going on too. And that's kind of, the other things slowed down. So I was able to develop my website. I already had some recordings done that are going to be inserted in the website. They haven't been inserted yet. It's going to be put together. So my website is juliamfallon.com, which is pretty easy to remember. It doesn't have live music yet, but it will hopefully by the end of May. So it's juliamfallon.com, and it's got a page for my music. It has other pages too about me, but that will have live music within hopefully a few weeks.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Julia. Thank you for joining us. And we will look forward to that website and your music being put there. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you in May at the farmers market. And then as soon as all of this is over, in other venues as well. It's been really great talking to you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome. And I want to just give a shout out to Katie Soper, who works in the background, and she puts all this together and does our technical work for us. We don't get to see her, but thanks, Katie, for all the work that you do. And we will see you all at our next artist sessions. Thanks so much.